Hi guys and welcome. It is Karen here with you today. Today I am going to share with you a page in my large Dylusions journal, and I'm using a bunch of Art by Marlene goodies from the So-Fish-Ticated collection and some couple of rice papers here. So I'm just tearing off the edges of my rice papers, and to make it easier for myself I'm just using a paintbrush just to dampen the rice paper, so then I can just tear it off nice and easy without it going everywhere. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it into my book with some gel medium. So I've just splattered some onto my page to begin with, and now I'm just smoothing the rice paper over the top and putting another layer of glue over the top. You get what I mean? You can see what I'm doing. And by starting with my paintbrush in the middle of the rice paper and pushing it out, I'm making sure that I haven't got any bubbles or creases as well. And so that's what I'm doing there. The next thing I'm going to do is grab out some of my Paperartsy paints. If you're interested to know what the colours are, they are listed down below in the description box because I can't think of what they are at the moment. Anyway, they're blue. So I am just smushing some of the blues here around the edges just to tie in the rice papers into my art journal, because the rice papers are a little bit smaller than my journal. So yeah, so I'm going to add that in. Now I've also got some green ones down here because, as you can see, there's green on the bottom of the rice paper. So I'm going to blend that in as well. Just a little bit of a lighter blue up there. Yeah, and I'm going to mix these blue and greens in a little bit. Now I've also got some yellow and pinks here for the other side because we've got a nice bit of a corally bed happening at the bottom of the sea. So that's what I'm doing there. So I'm just trying to match up a little bit with the rice paper with my paint so I can fill up my page a little bit better. And it's a little bit hickledy-pickledy, but it will be okay. I'm not too worried about it because I'm actually going to cover it over with some other details over the top, so it's not really going to matter. Now, because I've got some leftover paint, I've decided to grab out my Art by Marlene scale stencil here, and I'm going to use some of the blues here just to add some more into the oceans around the page, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. That looks cool. And I've also got out these other two stencils here that have got the little fronds on them because I thought that would be cool for some stenciling and making some coral. So I'm using some of the hot pink paint here just to create some coral there along the bottom of the seabed. So nice and easy. And now I'm going to switch and use some of the baby pink in the bottom there, so that breaks that up a little bit. Building it up, it looks a little bit cool. A little bit of an orangey one. And on this other stencil here, it's got a larger frond on it, so I'm going to use some of the green leftover paint just to put some of those in. I think I did 3. Yes, I did do 3. Okay, so now I've grabbed out some stamps from the Sophisticated collection, and I've got the bubbles here so I can continue them up from the Little Mermaid sleeping. I think that looks cool. I've grabbed out some of the coral stamps, and I'm just going to stamp those around as well. So I'm using an archival jet black ink and just wiping off my stamps as I go. And now I'm just popping them all away because I managed to fish a stamp or 2 out of every set. Oh dear, and I don't want to lose them, so that's why I'm putting them away. There we go. Alrighty, so now I have a fish also from that stamp collection, and I'm just going to stamp him out onto some watercolor paper when I found some that was big enough. So we've got a bit of a scrap here, and I'm going to dry him off. So I'm just drying the ink so that I can use my Tombow pens and not have the ink run. Not that it would anyway, but it just makes it easier. So I'm just putting a little bit of Tombow colour around the edges, and then I'm going to use my paintbrush, as you can see, just to activate it and spread it around. So you really don't need very much colour because, you know, it goes a long way. So there we go. So my fish has got some bright yellow lips and a pink bow at the top. And when I get him dry, I'm going to cut him out And oh, actually first I'm going to do his eyes. So I'm just using some paint pens from Life of Colour, Posca, and I also have some Jane Davenport ones which have a little bit of glitter in them, so they're a bit fancy. So I think my fish looks pretty cool there, so I'm going to cut him out in a second. And boom, there he is. So he's already cut out, so I'm just going to glue him in to my book just using my art glitter glue. Now, art glitter glue is my favorite glue to use because it's really good for paper. It's really good for card making and all that kind of thing. It doesn't leave gunky gluey bits everywhere. Now, that was also a stamp out of the So-Fish-Ticated stamp sets, but it didn't stamp out so well, so I think I'll go over that later. I've also got a Kaiser Craft stamp here, which is just a little grid that I'm stamping around the background. I've got a Woodware stamp here, which has got lots of little arty words on it. And I'll put that into the background as well. So now I have grabbed out my Art by Marlene die cut book here that's got some fish and bits in it. So I'm going to pull out some of those little bits. So I've got a crab, a fish, a seahorse, and a whale in a goldfish bowl, which I thought would be super cute on the seabed near the mermaid. So that's why I pulled him out, and I think that looks really cute. So she's got her little room, her little bedroom there. So I've got all those glued in now. So now I've got another stamp here, but I've actually got some archival ink in the picked raspberry, and I'm going to stamp that one around the edges, which is what I've just done there. And I've grabbed out another little stamp here, but I'm going to use some white paint this time. And I'm just using a little bit of cut and dry foam to put my paint onto my stamp so it doesn't go everywhere. And of course you have to wipe and clean your stamp afterwards because you don't want to leave paint on your stamp. That's a no-no. Okay, so once I get that dry, I'm going to add some extra bits in with my Stabilo oil pencil. So just a little bit of a shadow around some of these bits, and so I can pop out some of the details. So just around my fish there, just to pop him out a little bit, and the seahorse, that looks pretty cool. Some here around the mermaid, and I'm just using my finger just to help blend the excess black watercolor into the page a little bit, so it's not so here's the watercolor and there it's not, if you get what I mean. Just some around the crab here because it got a little bit lost there on the green, and that looks pretty cool. Pretty happy with that. So like I said, I'm going to go over my solid stamping because it looked a bit dodgy. So I've got a Life of Colour pen, and I'm just colouring in the letters so they really pop out now. So quite happy with that. So we're just about finished. There's not a real lot more I'm going to do, but I am going to grab some cool schminky aero ink. It's in a iridescent goldy sparkly colour, and I'm going to drop that onto my bubbles and some onto my goldfish bowl there because I think that would look really pretty. And so I'm going to get that dry, and then I'm going to grab out my new old favourite thing that, you know, I kind of forgot about and now found again, is glossy accents. So I'm going to put some glossy accents onto my bubbles so they really pop out off the page and they look really cool with the sparkles and everything. I'm going to put some on the goldfish bowl. Well, it's not a goldfish, the whale bowl. So, you know, that brings out a little bit, and a little bit of glitter as well, just to add a tiny bit more sparkle. And I'm really happy with how my page has turned out. So I really hope you have enjoyed my So-Fish-Ticated art journal journey with my awesome Art by Marlene products. I hope I have inspired you to get a little bit creative. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would love it if you would, and like and share if you feel so inclined. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye bye.